Hello. Hello, good afternoon. Good afternoon, everybody. I think we just got live on our Facebook. My name is Richard V from Richard V Chambers. We'll wait for a few more minutes. Today we are hosting our bowling legend, one Shalin Zulkifli, who just returned from America after a fairly successful bowling tournament tour, which she'll be sharing with us while she's under quarantine, stuck in a hotel. It's only 1:59. Shalin is already here, but we'll just wait for a few more minutes for more people to log on and follow us. So if those who are watching us now, can you share this video with your Facebook pages and let people know that today we'll be speaking with Shalin. You know, yeah, we have a comment here already from Aaron. Thank you, Aaron. Yes, we are looking forward to this too. In a short while. So I repeat, ladies and gentlemen, today for about an hour or so, we will be hosting Shalin Zulkifli, who will be speaking and sharing about her experience when she was touring in US. And actually, you hear later, it's been a lifelong ambition and dream to participate in the American bowling tournament. And many of us who were following her Insta stories and her updates on social media would have seen her trials and tribulations and success and happiness and her adventures in eating, simple ikan goreng in US. So if we are able to just hold on for 1 or 2 more minutes, we will be starting with the interview soon. So please inform your friends. We are hosting Shalin in a few minutes time. I'll be just putting off my camera for a short while waiting for everyone else to come in. Thank you. Okay. Hi, Shalin. Apa khabar?
Hi Richard.
Hi. Hey, welcome back. Welcome back to Malaysia.
You.
Yeah. So you how many days quarantine are you in now?
Days
Hari ke berapa dah?
hari ke-6.
Oh, okay. And you are quarantined for 10 days, right?
14.
Oh, 14. Oh my god.
19. 19 hari bulan.
Okay,
Then,
okay, okay. Right after Malaysia Day lah. Right after Malaysia Day. Okay, okay.
yeah.
Then uh so I suppose I remembered your daughter's with you, right?
Yes, me and my daughter.
Say because we saw her on social media. Okay. So well, Charlie, it's been thank you very much for agreeing to join us on our interview with you.
My pleasure.
Um, what I intend to do today is this: to first speak about your plans. You retired from the national bowling team early in the year. I
Yes.
was very sad when I saw that, but I knew that I think you wanted to move on already, and you wanted to. I recall you sharing with me last year
Yeah.
we had our interview last year. Remember, where you
Yes.
said you may be time for you to move on. Then after that,
Yeah.
I want to talk to you about your experience bila you sampai ke US, apa yang berlaku di US, and the COVID-19 experience there. And then thereafter, talk about your tournament, how you carry your equipment here and there, how do you handle registration. And then at the tournament itself, maybe we can speak about your experience, your trials and tribulation, your high and low, And then, and I remember you met many Malaysians in US.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. It was the
Yeah,
yeah, I did meet a lot of Malaysians, which was really nice. Sebab dah lama kan tak jumpa any Malaysian, tak cakap Melayu.
ya. Itulah. Kadang-kadang kalau kita pergi jauh-jauh kan, kita rindu nak catch up Melayu and all that, just simple
Betul.
things.
Yes, the simple things yang you tak perasan.
Yeah,
When you don't have it,
yeah.
then you realize it. Yeah.
I always say, Charlene, that you can always take a Malaysian out of the country Malaysia, but you can never take Malaysia out of us.
Yes.
Especially when it comes to our language, our food,
Yeah.
our culture. Nobody can take that away from us.
Yes.
Yeah,
That's why Malaysia is so fantastic.
yeah. Okay, it's only 203. Let's start.
Okay.
So Shalin, yes, you are a multiple medal winner. For I mean, just in case nobody knows you here, I doubt, but you are a multiple medal winner. And I remembered when I shared among my friends that I'm going to interview you, there was a big hoo-ha on WhatsApp yesterday. So, oh my God, you're a good interview, Shalin. So it goes to show how famous and popular you are.
You tak cakap
But
lah. I dah kenal dia lama.
yeah, next time I say that, like, actually she's my friend. So, but I'm so honored to be your acquaintance, Shalin. It's a real pleasure to know you. And then, as
Thank
I told
you.
you last year in the interview, I used to look at you far, far away as a fan. Now I get to interview you. Even though I'm an old man now, but I still get butterfly and excitement speaking with someone like you. Yeah. Anyway, that aside, I remembered you retired. Maybe you can share with us a short while um, your decision to retire. What was your consideration, and what were your plans at the time? I think remember it was in early January this year
Yeah.
when you announced it.
Oh,
Yeah. Mm,
January or something like that. It was
mm.
early January. Okay. So yeah, I retired early in January. I think like 4th or 6th January, the first week of
Ah.
January. So yeah.
Mm.
Um Actually, that was a very, very difficult decision for me to make. Cause I've been representing the country for 30 over years since I was 13. So lama kan. And then like,
Oh my God.
especially like,
Yeah.
yeah. So macam orang cakap macam, alah, because COVID and everything kan, so cakap macam, alah, why you want to retire? You can makan gaji buta, because you don't have tournaments. You just have to go do your daily workouts and things like that. But like for me, macam I don't know, when during COVID and the pandemic kan, when you're at home you have like a lot of time to think and everything. So like I did like a lot of like self reflection and like thought about what I wanted to do in the future. So I was like, because I always like since 2015 I really like told myself I wanted to like retire, but then my
That's a
coach,
lot.
yeah, imagine that I still tahan 5 tahun tau. So I
Mm.
like my coach and like my president at MTBC so said like, hold on first. You can still contribute to the country and so on. So like, okay, so I held on, and then last the SEA Games that was gonna be in Malaysia, so that was nice. So um yeah, I held on. When I retired, so my coach said, "Are you sure you can come back?" No lah, sir. Can enough lah, because like when like I said, like when I did a lot of like self reflection, and I said, okay, what do I still want to achieve? So one of it that I still haven't achieved yet is like winning a PWBA title, a pro title on the ladies.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, so how do I achieve that? So I know if I was still in the team, it would be difficult for me to compete for the full season, because when you're in our national team, we have like a lot of other commitments. Macam we have our world championships and so on. So those kind of tournaments have more priority over the ladies tour too and so on. So
Mm.
I know that for me, in order for me to give myself a chance to win a pro title, I need to be there longer, because before this we used to go there every year, but we only go like 4 tournaments. And
Yeah. Yeah.
for me like orang macam I ni macam dia after like 2 tournaments baru you kind of like panas and warm up
Warm
with
up.
that.
Yeah. Correct. Yeah.
So like dah nak baru dah nak warm up, dah nak like get comfortable dah. Okay, it's time for us to leave. So macam so yeah, so I kind of like work backwards from what I saw or what I thought like I did not achieve yet in my career. Thank you,
Mm.
Alhamdulillah, I've achieved a lot. I'm very thankful about that. I've
Yeah.
been able to achieve a lot in my 30 years of representing the country. But yeah, that's this. I was talking to my husband, and she's like, yeah, betul ke you nak retire and so on lah. Because
Dia pun tak percaya kan? Tak percaya, ya.
percaya bini dia. Because after 2015, I was like, after 2015, I was like, okay, I would like renew the contract with myself every year, yearly. So I'm like, okay, at the beginning of the year 2016, okay, I'll ask myself, okay, do you think you still can compete? Do you think you still can win for Malaysia? Do you still feel hungry? I said, okay, yes. If the answer is yes, then continue. So for that 5 years, continue lah until macam yang pandemic tu macam I felt like, okay, I think it's the right time for me to move forward. I know it's going to be very scary because you lose a lot of your what do you say, like your safety net kan, because
Hmm.
you dah biasa dalam when you're in an athlete, lead athlete in the national team, gaji you bulan-bulan jalan, MSN bayar,
Hmm.
but when I stop, all of that stopped, so all of the benefits stopped as well. So it was very scary lah, especially like pandemic kan. After pandemic, you tak tahu whether at that time kita ingat dah macam towards the end dah COVID, but then later on it came back kan. So macam it was a lot of like uncertainties as well. But I said like, okay, if I were to do it, I have to do it now because I'm not getting any younger. So plus at that time I felt like, I think I've done, which is like kind of like macam surprising for me as well. Because I'm like, okay, betul ke ni nak retire? Then I was thinking about it. Okay, I said that okay, now because usually every year I would say no, I want to prove myself in this tournament every year.
Yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah, yeah.
beginning of this year, I was like, okay, no, I want to go on the PWBA. I want to go
Hmm.
tour and win there because like at least I can tell myself like, okay, I've given my chance opportunity to myself to be able to do that. But if I don't win, tak apa. But at least we dah cuba. So,
Hmm.
so like okay lah. I went to that and then yeah, it was very, the weeks before that macam banyak fikir jugalah. Make sure financially okay. Because kita dah ada family semua tu. And then I talked to my coach first. I didn't want to like macam announce to the public yet because I wanted to make sure like I had
Everything ready first lah. Hmm.
get everything ready first, and I think I owe the people around me to know first
Hmm.
before I let the public know. So I talked to my coach, my president, MSN, Dr. Sapawi, and everyone, all those people who have supported me all this while. I told them my
Hmm.
decision, and they said, oh, okay. And then if that's what you really wanted to do, okay, go ahead. So I told them. Then after that, I came out in the Star, Rajesh. I told Rajesh, because she's
Hmm.
a my friend as well. So I told her, and then she published in the papers. And then after that, um, I think a few days after that, then baru I did the PC and
Yes, I
like
remember the PC. Yeah. Hmm.
yeah, everyone. So yeah, basically sedih juga lah, sedih. Like I know I was gonna like be sad, tapi macam cepat jugalah baru cakap few words dah macam sebab like like in my throat.
Yeah, I can imagine because you are so passionate about representing the country.
Because I really, really love that part of my life, like representing the
Hmm.
country and being a team and winning for
Yeah.
Malaysia. That has been like 3 quarters of my life.
Yeah. Yeah.
So giving that up is not easy, but I know that I had to do that so that I can move forward to better
Yeah.
things, to better things. So yeah, so that was pretty hard, but it was like really nice. I got a lot of support from the public.
Hmm.
Everybody was super supportive about that, and I think it's a good time as well because when I make a decision, I like try to think about not only me, how it affects me, but every people around me, my
Hmm.
teammates, and so on.
Hmm.
Teammates tu masa I bagi tahu dia macam tak percaya because I told first day of training, I told them okay. Okay, by the way, I'm retiring. Macam, huh?
Ayo, on the first day of training.
First day of
Alamak.
ya akan nak retire. Hah? So akak datang sini nak bagi tahu you all personally je semua. Because I prefer like, because they are like part of my family as well. Kita orang dah, I kenal most of them since dia kecil lagi. Masa dia start main
Hmm.
coding 10 years old, macam Esther, Muaz gitu kan. Rafiq. So I wanted them to hear from me than reading the papers and not knowing because of the relationship that we have.
Hmm.
So it was nice lah. Some of them like cried and like still in disbelief and everything. But I told them it wasn't a easy decision. But then because of the pandemic and everything, I think it's timely because at least when I retired beginning of the year, the
Hmm.
younger ones can go up to the main team. and then they have time to at least try and catch up in terms of their physical game and so on, so that they can be ready to help the team and grow, mature faster by the time any big tournaments come towards the end of the year and so on.
Mm, mm. Well, it was definitely shaking the thing, but having said that, number one, I felt in my personal view that you retired at the top. You didn't retire when you were either very tired or you were already like fed up. You didn't do that. Also,
Yes,
number
that's
two,
one of
I
the
think,
that I wanted.
yeah,
Like I was thinking of retiring. I was preparing for my retirement in my mind because I know that the moment's gonna come. We cannot escape from it, and it's just full circle. You have to retire at some point, so you have to accept that. So I was thinking, okay, make sure when I retire, I want to be like at the top and all
yeah.
that. And alhamdulillah, I was able to do that. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. And you went to US. But at the same time, I think our bowling team, while we all know without you, they will be losing a particular leading player. But I think they are not too bad. We have a quite a good bowling team. And
yeah,
maybe somebody now will be inspired to
yeah. They
chase
have,
your legacy, isn't it? Huh?
yeah, the seniors will have to step up for sure, because before that I was usually the one that step up, and they're so used to me stepping up. But now without me, they a few of them will have to step up and like guide
Yeah,
the team
yeah.
as well. Because
Correct.
whether you like it or not, the day will come one day where I'll retire. So you cannot just like, okay, tak apa kat Shalin lagi, tak apa, relax lah. But so they have to step up,
Correct.
and they know that I've told them, like, kind of like subconsciously told them, hinted to them the last few years. Tapi tak tahu lah, diorang maybe diorang fikir ada lah kat tipu. But then the actual day came, so yeah. So yeah,
Yeah,
we have a lot of good girls
yeah.
that can roll, that
Yeah,
can
yeah.
be,
Our lady bowlers are really good. Yeah, very good, very stable.
just have
Yeah,
to, like, since all of them are young, so they just need to like make sure they are able to click and perform together as a team when we compete. Yeah, tu je.
mm. Well, I see some people saying hi here.
Yeah,
There's
hi
Aaron saying hi earlier, and then
everyone.
this is Kenny Live, my friend from Perak. He's a lawyer from Perak. He loves sports. He's a good tennis player.
Oh,
Hi, Noreen. I remember we've seen Noreen in our talks before. And then here's Brendan. He's actually a friend of mine. He's a
oh,
very big bowler fan. He bowls
oh,
almost every week in a league in Pyramid. So
oh.
yeah, so he really wanted to log in to listen to you today. So
Oh,
hi
nice.
Brendan.
Nice.
Yeah,
Hi, Brendan.
yeah. So moving from there, Charlene, of course, uh, while the country may have lost your playing skills, but I'm sure we can always call upon your experience. I wouldn't be surprised one day, Charlene, you become a manager or some kind of mentor for bowling, isn't it? Isn't it possible?
Yeah, actually, I've actually kind of been doing that before my retirement.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah,
You're a quasi
because
captain.
because I'm like, even before I retired, I've already like been helping out in our association, national body. Uh,
Yeah, yeah.
Before that, like since 2011, I've already been involved in the grassroots in our state level, Selangor, and also secretary of our state association. And then before I retired, assistant secretary for our Malaysian National Bowling Congress. So
Mm, mm.
um, I've had like two hats while I was still competing, to prepare me for for when my retirement comes. So macam I know some people, some athletes, when they retire, they don't want to be involved at all in the sports, which I respect that decision. But for me, I don't think I'll be able to do that, because it's like sports, especially bowling, is really like ingrained in my life, in my blood, whether I like it or not. So memang my passion is like to help the sport,
Mm.
whether it's Malaysia or worldwide. So that's why I
Remain
uh
involved lah. You're still in the circle. Mm.
yes, I'm still a circle, because I like top up in OCM punya AC, and then our apa, I'm one of the athletes rep in our world bowling as well. So I
Yeah,
want
yeah,
to be involved, and I want to help make our sport better
yeah.
and change according to the environment and the
Mm,
time.
mm.
Yeah,
Yeah, I hope you can lead, Shalin, the ecosystem. I'm not suggesting that sekarang teruk. I'm not saying that.
yeah,
But of
yeah,
course, things can always get better, kan? Even if
yes,
it's good,
yes,
it can
yes.
become better. So
Yeah,
I
yeah,
would
for sure.
suggest with your experience, right? You should deal with the emotional and mental aspects of the athletes. You've gone through a lot of tough times and good times. At the same time, I think now there's a movement towards rights of players. So I think we can
Yeah,
also look into that, and
yes,
then
yes,
associations also need to move towards professionalism. It
yes,
must be run like a professional company.
yes,
So
correct.
these are things, hopefully, with your involvement and your experience in US, which you're going to speak about very soon, will you can bring it back to Malaysia. Yeah.
Yes, sure.
So it's nice to hear that story, Charlene. I think many people have not heard that part of the story after you retired. Yeah.
Yeah,
So thanks for sharing. And I think there's some of the press are here watching this uh, webinar. So thanks. I know some of the sports press are here. So moving from there, I know after that, unfortunately, COVID came in kacau. In fact, I think your husband, so unfortunately, who by the way
yeah,
is also, people may not
yes,
know that your husband is also a national bowler,
yeah.
very good bowler. Yeah, yeah.
He's also
So
ex teammate, and he also coaches our national junior. He's the head coach.
yeah,
Coach
I
the head.
remembered when he was bowling, he was very calm. The way he bowl. I ingat lagi, he's like very calm and steady.
Yeah, dia macam
Uh,
sikit lah.
Correct. He was so that time of course I didn't know he was dating you. I was like, wow, this guy damn calm lah. So well done to him. Anyway, I remembered unfortunately he was not feeling well, so you went to US with
Yes,
your daughter. So maybe you can share with us your experience going to US, and then I remember you got your vaccine there.
yeah, yeah.
How was it?
Okay, well, actually, before leaving for US, so it was quite like hectic because yeah lah, I was that time bowling alley. I think they just opened the bowling alley, and then after that, apa? My husband they started training. The team started training. Then suddenly, my husband was positive. He got it from one of his. I think I'm not sure whether that's, but he was positive because one of his students
Yeah,
was
I remember
positive.
that. Yeah, but I'm glad he's fine now. I'm glad he's
Yeah,
fine now. Yeah.
yeah. So macam kelang kabut lah because I actually planning to go in April, actually beginning of April for the first tournament.
Oh, I
Because of
see.
everything that happened, I had to push back. So I think I had to push it back 3 weeks. So by the time when he was positive, so me and Alia got tested straight away that the same day, and then we were negative. So but then we still had to be in quarantine as well. Walaupun we were negative, we still quarantine ourselves because we didn't want to infect anyone else. So like when he was in HKL, 10 days, I think 10 days, yeah, 10 days that time. So we were quarantined at home. Then because I couldn't get to practice, so I didn't actually bowl a lot before I left.
I
Uh,
see.
yeah, I didn't get to practice a lot. So then after that, when he came out, I think I waited like 4 days or something like that after to make sure he was okay. After he got discharged from HKL, dah okay semua. Then baru we left. Because the
Mm,
process also I had to apply for my travel pass and all those processes to make sure I could go out of the country to compete. Make sure all the paperwork was sent in the proper way lah, the proper channels and
I see.
everything. So
Yeah.
that also took time. Yeah.
Wait,
Then
do you need to quarantine in US? Tak ada quarantine in US?
tak ada.
Hmm. They were champion lah, they all.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
that's one of the things that I like took into account as well masa nak pergi kan, because I was like, okay, I asked all my foreigner friends that was bowling on the tour as well. Okay, when you got there, do you have to quarantine? And then I check on the LA punya apa district punya website semua kan. Cakap itu kena quarantine, home quarantine. Tapi actually when I left there, tak ada pun quarantine. So like you could do whatever you want as long as you were negative. So macam because of that I had slightly more time. Um
Mm.
so I kind of bowl like a warm up tournament before the actual tournament that I was supposed to compete in, which
Mhm.
was the US Nationals. I know some kind of weird because usually dekat bila cakap US Nationals normally like Americans lah kan kita main, kalau kita kat
Mm.
sini Tapi kat sana, land of the free semua, so anyone can play the nationals. So
Oh.
actually, yeah, so I bought the nationals. Actually, I wasn't planning to go a nationals, but it was at the same venue as our first major, which was the Queens. And then because I was practicing in another bowling center in Reno, and then one of my sponsors, the guys that worked on the tour, was like, "Oh, why don't you just try and play, look at the substitute board. Sebab kadang bila dia orang main ni ada dia orang tak cukup team members or one of the team members.
Oh, okay.
So, okay lah, one of my other friends, Kendra, she was in Team USA before. So I said, yeah, why don't you go look on the board, then maybe you can practice here, then they have to practice somewhere else. So I'm like, okay, so me and my other friend went to the board, and then we found one team that didn't have enough players. So, okay, so I just signed up, and then the next day, I bowled with that team.
Oh.
Yeah, with that team. So I go all the events. Very sweet because that team all aunties lah. Dia macam, I said, Emma, it's just for practice. I didn't really think much about it. So sekali bila main, the oiling pattern was quite easy, and I was able to do really well, spot well, and then found out that towards the end, I found out that I was like actually leading the all events.
All right.
All events. I had to like strike out and so I had to lead the event, but then I had to wait like 4 months for that whole tournament to finish because the Omnia Nationals is not like kita macam this nationals 1 week. Tak, the Omnia Nationals is like for 4 months.
Oh.
So go and bowl whenever they are free within that 4 months. Sebab ramai.
I see.
So at the end of that 4 months, so you akan tahu. They have like 1 or 2 weeks for people to actually like validate the scores and so on kalau ada any protest and whatnot. So I only knew like in June, I think. Yeah, in June. Yeah, June ke July. I only knew that my score was still there and good enough, and I was able to win first in the all events. Yeah.
I see. Interesting.
It was nice, yeah. So and then I bowled in the Queens that was there, and then when I got there, like what you said about the vaccination, when I got there, because before I left, I tak sempat nak ambil vaccination. So
tak sempat. Belum start lagi. Malaysia belum start lagi.
Yeah, and then plus IGD baru keluar hospital and so on kan, quarantine so on. So I went there, and then my friend cakap, you dah vaksin ke belum? I cakap, belum. Dia cakap, boleh ke? And then she said, why don't you just get a vaccination here? Some of the other girls from other countries like Germany yang main on tour also got it there. Oh, really? I said, okay, how much I have to pay? Then she said, oh, no, it's free. You can just walk in. Oh, walk in? So Malaysia kan that time belum start lagi kan?
Belum start lagi that time.
Okay, so I cakap, how do I go about doing it? So, you can just make an appointment or walk in. I said, okay. So malam tu, I think that same night I arrived, buat appointment, then tengok, besok dah boleh ambil vaksin.
Oh, so fast dia. Yeah.
Because everywhere, dia macam all the pharmacies, like CVS pharmacy and all those things, you can take your vaccination there. Macam all the guardians, imagine like all the guardians and Watsons kat Malaysia ni semua boleh buat vaccination.
Sini lain.
So macam, because they actually went through what we went through. Mula-mula juga macam susah vaksin semua, then later on I think because I think in April, February after New York was hit pretty bad.
Yeah.
So they kind of like expedited that thing, so they went through the process faster than us. So that's by the time I was there, it was already like everywhere, get vaccination everywhere and so on. So I went, I took my first jab at school, and then because I had to plan to make sure my second jab and everything was like I had time in between my tournaments. Tak nak lah macam ambil lepas tu nak kena main tournament ni because of the side effects. I was had to prepare for the side effects and so on. So I took that, and then it was so easy. Then when I actually shared on my IG story, social media, then banyak orang cakap, kat mana tu you macam you ambil kat kedai runcit. The background was like a pharmacy kan. Kita kan kena ambil PPV lah and all that.
Correct, yeah.
Dah divaksinasi. The ID. Like, oh sini dekat pharmacy je boleh ambil. Oh kat pharmacy je. Yeah. So I only had like my vaccination card. Saya pegang my vaccination card je. Padahal kat sini semua ada yang all that IG thing kan. So
Yeah, big one, yeah.
yeah. So
Well,
yeah, I was able to do that to do it there, and then like it was free and it was so easy, so convenient. So I'm very
good lah.
thankful. Yeah.
Good. Yeah, I think the vaccine will help us to at least give us some protection. So
Yes, for sure.
so to all of you out there, those who haven't taken the vaccine, please consider taking the
Yes,
vaccine.
yes, yes. Please.
It's scientifically and medically proven that we need a vaccine. So please go and take it up. All right.
Yes.
Okay. That was my community message. Yeah.
PSA. Yeah.
Yeah. So okay. Then the tournaments. Once you start the US National Open, I saw without disclosing too much of privacy, I saw you were traveling around US. You were renting vehicles, and
Yes.
uh, it was like a real tour for you, huh? Literally a tour, huh? Yeah. So share with us your experience. Macam mana you register for tournament, your equipments, how will you carry, because you cannot be carrying all your bowling balls here and there. So what about your teammates? Maybe you can share with us your experience about the tournament.
Yes, for sure. Well, that's actually how the pro tour works for bowling, the PWBA. That's how we have to. That's actually how we go about competing in every stop. Memang you kena rent a car, like normally kalau you're in the national team kan, you have a manager to do all of that. You arrange your flight, your hotel. You tahu, you just show up for the flight, pergi. Then after that sampai sana you tanya, okay, main pukul berapa, manager cakap semua. You don't have to, usually you don't have to book at all anything. You just show up and bowl tu je. But when you are on the pro tour, you have to do everything yourself. You are the manager, you are the nutritionist, you are the coach, you are the travel agent, everything you kena buat sendiri. Tak ada orang tolong lah.
Mm.
So usually like you have your roommate and everything, so you usually arrange your travel arrangements with your roommate and so on. So I was there with my best friend, Missy Parkin, who also goes on tour, and
Ah,
both of us brought our kids. Her son is DJ, 3 years old, so she also brings the kids to all the stops. And actually, we've been roommates for the last before the first time I went on tour, which was in 2009, 2008.
old friend lah ni, kawan lama lah.
I've had the experience before, like in 2008, 2009. So that's why I kind of like knew what to expect and what to do this time.
I
Plus,
see.
I've been going to the States almost like yearly and like play in certain tournaments. So I wasn't like macam terkejut sangat lah, culture shock, because I had to do masa 2009 tu memang culture shock, because I had to like do everything on my own. And it was my first time. So macam when I was macam masa buying bowling tu, you kena fikir next week hotel bila, and then you have to like, because when we go on tour, yelah kita orang ni it's like bowling PWBA ni dia tak macam meriah sangat. It's not like the PGA tour, you can have your entourage semua tu kan.
Yeah, yeah.
Everything semua kita orang buat sendiri je. So
Mm.
macam in US pula, when you go to a tournament, you kena memang wajib, you have to rent a car. If you don't have a car, memang you
Susah lah nak travel.
susah, because kat sana tak ada taxi semua tu. And then kalau you nak naik Uber semua, kadang if the places that you go to is like outskirts of town,
They won't send you.
nak cari. One of my friends found it the hard way. Memang susah nak cari. And because we're going there for tournament, so you have to like know your schedule. You have to make sure you're at the competition time, competition site like 1 hour before and so on. So like, memang whenever I go to US and bowl on the PWBA and so on, memang kita kena rent a car lah. Whether you rent yourself or you share, pandai-pandai lah, you buat your own costing, and then you have to book your hotel, and then you have to like, hotel pun you kena macam survey lah, go online and check, tengok which third party punya website yang lagi murah, hotel.com ke, booking.com ke, Agoda ke, Expedia ke, or book on the website itself, of the hotel website itself. So lagi murah, so you have to do that survey and make sure, and And then Google Map, tengok okay how far is the bowling center from the hotel, where's the nearest hotel, and then you have to make sure okay how much is your budget for every week. So usually it's like your entry will be like 300 US, and then your car rental will be like depending on which state you're in. Because masa COVID ni, a lot of the car rental companies in US, they sold a lot of their cars. So the demand for rental cars was quite high. So it's quite
Mm.
expensive compared to normal.
I see.
So like certain states will be like 2 to 300, certain
Oh,
tournaments will be like 1,000.
oh
So
mahal lah.
so you kena survey macam you buat for your hotels, you have to do it for your rental car as well, whether you go Hotwire or rentalcars.com and all those things to see which
Mm.
are the best options for you. And
Mm.
then you have to register for your tournaments as well. So they must say you have to pre-register. There's like a 1 month or 1 week registration that you have to register before that deadline.
Mm.
It's quite a funny story because of that also. Because I
Ah,
registered all the tournaments. As one tournament I was like kelang kabut sikit so banyak sangat ni. So I actually forgot to register for one of the tournaments. I registered for like there's like 4 tournaments back to back. So I registered for the 3 tournaments. And somehow or rather I thought I'd have registered for that fourth one.
ah,
Tapi I tak register. But I was there actually earlier compared to everyone. Because I drove from one of the other stops.
one stop
Uh,
there. Mm.
yeah, so because ada certain stop tu dia macam you can drive, it's drivable. So usually stop and drivable, I will just drive lah. Senang, tak
Mm.
payah nak balik to LA because in between the stops, I'll go back to LA and then come back. So actually, I forgot to register for that tournament because we can check our registration like a few days before the tournament. So
Mm.
I tak perasan nanti like the day before ni my friend say, because dia akan keluar lane draw semua lah. Your name is not in. I'm like, what? My name is not in? Are you sure? I thought I registered.
Mm.
So I called our tournament director
Director, yeah. Ah.
for the league, and she's like, "Huh? You didn't register?" I said, "Yeah, I thought I registered." Then she's like, "Yeah, no, your name is not in." But luckily, there were still spots left, so I
Nasib
was
baik lah.
to register. Apparently, it wasn't only me; it was another of my friend also had the same issue, and both of us actually got there early before everyone else. We were happily practicing, before the tournament started at the venue. Then suddenly tengok the day before, nama dia pun tak ada, nama I tak ada. It's kind of funny.
Nasib baik.
Yeah, so yeah, a lot because memang banyak benda you have to like make sure you have to have a
And you're alone, so very tough for you.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, so normally our schedule for each stop will be like within 1 week. Monday, Tuesday is our off day.
Mm.
Sunday, Monday, Tuesday is my off day. Wednesday is travel day. So we usually travel on Wednesday, and then Thursday is like we get there, we sort out equipment and stuff like that, and Thursday petang is our practice session, and then Friday we start. So we usually get there earlier, like a day earlier, so that we can settle down. So I don't like to rush and get there in the morning, then petang main, and then terus. I don't like to go in and out. So because I just want to get used to.
Get in earlier, acclimatize, see the oil patterns of the
Yeah.
alley.
So
That,
like our practice, we won't know. We will only know 30 minutes before our practice session.
I see. Okay.
So dia memang like you have to be like sharp. So and then we finish on Saturday. So Sunday is travel day. So every week is like that. So memang non-stop. So we have
Penat
like
lah.
memang penat. It's not like a holiday, relax.
Well, that's the life of
Oh,
professional player. Yalah.
It's like, and then you have to like when you compete, you have to like be on. Make sure you are like sharp and on point because macam on Fridays we bowl like 12 games, 6 games, and then we have a break lunch, and then come back and bowl another 6 games.
And you had no coach, right? Actually, you were alone. There's no coach with you.
Tak ada. We only had our like ball rep which is like ball representative. They call it
Mm.
ball, which is like kind of like a coach there. So I'm like under Storm, Roto Grip, and Global 900. So my
Mm.
company has like three brands that's affiliated to that company. So they have like a rep to take care of all the girls on tour. So every brand will have their own rep. So like my ball brand, we have three reps because we have like 40 girls on
Mm.
staff, on tour staff. So memang banyak lah. So they will like help and guide you if you need anything. They will like tell you, and then they will help you like with your equipment, how to drill it. They will draw and everything. So it's actually when you're on tour, you have to be on staff, on any
Mm.
ball staff, equipment staff. Kalau tidak susah because um when you go on tour, you tak boleh beli bola kat pro shop macam tu je and just drill. You know, you cannot. You have to like the balls will be on the truck, and you have to fill out your card and so on. So like they have their own system. So and then when you dah drill bola pun, you have to like open up yourself. Macam selalu dekat sini, kalau normal bowlers, they just okay, we pro shop tu tolong gluekan finger insert,
Mm.
buatkan thumb, semua. You just masukkan finger and tak, okay sedap, okay balik. Dekat sini, okay, sana tak ada. Some I shared that on my IG story so because orang semua ingat macam senang je kan. So I shared them so like, okay, the ball driller will just drill 3 holes for you, and then you take that ball, you go
Mm.
to the workout table. There's like a workout table in our paddock where we keep our equipment. You kena buat sendiri lah semua. Tanpa apa,
Yeah. But
feeling
all the Shalin, all the other professional bowlers, are they also like that, or do they have their own coaches and all that? Because maybe
some have their own coaches, but basically when you drill your own ball semua, you are responsible for it, so you have to do it yourself lah.
I see. I
So
see.
memang style kita orang macam very independent. You have to do it yourself, you know. And then kalau saya tak tahu certain things macam sebab when I went there like dah almost a year plus tak compete. I dah macam lupa macam nak buat. I use one of my sponsors is a Vice.
Mm.
And we have it. It's called interchangeable thumb. So you can use the same thumb in every ball. So you have to like kind of do some installation on your ball to be able to do that. So kerana I lupa the first few times I was just like, macam mana nak pasang ni, lupa sebab dah kan. So when I went there, so okay, I asked my friend, okay, can you show me again? I'm like, I not both for so long. I don't know how to. I forgot how to do it. So she showed me. So yeah, I had to like remember how to do everything. Sorry, that's my doctor.
Nah, it's okay. Yeah.
So kena buat tu semua lah. So macam it's not macam you tak adalah orang macam okay, here's your ball, you know, can go and play. Tak, you memang you kena buat semua. And then when you go and bowl also, you kena get your own equipment. Even though you have family ke, coaches ke, they're not allowed to touch your equipment. You have to carry your own equipment to every pair and so on. That's one of our rules on tour. And then so if you are not used to that, it gets very overwhelming
I
because
see.
banyak, but you have to be very
Yeah, because you're alone.
yeah, banyak. That's why like masa our team started going to the States and competing on tour, a lot of them was like kind of like culture shock because in Malaysia everything is kind of taken care
of. Yeah, we are pampered.
Kalau kadang-kadang Asa Holloway pun drill bola, cakap okay, dia cakap dia dah buat semua, dah drill dan pro shop, baik kat pro shop, so drill, okay Shalin, your ball is ready in the pro shop, okay sir, pergi pro shop ambil. So yeah, I had to learn it the hard way when I started going on tour myself in 2009 for the women's series. So lepas tu dah memang since I knew then, so I started being more independent and like doing it myself and so on. So you have to know your equipment yourself. You have to be able to modify your equipment and so on. So yeah, it's hard, but it's very rewarding because you kena be independent lah. Basically, you kena be independent.
Yeah. That's a typical life of a pro in any sports lah. Yeah. Then except for those multi-million sports like American football and soccer, they're different lah. But even I know macam even the professional badminton players, the professional table tennis players, they are mostly on their own.
Yeah.
All right.
Betul.
So then, okay, with all the tournaments, what was your experience? I remembered some you were doing very well, some you were you commented on
Yes,
social media, say, "Alama, a bit behind." So,
yes.
what was your best tournament? And what was your most difficult tournament?
The first few weeks, it was actually kind of hard for me to like come back and compete at that level because mentally, expectation wise, yeah, I know what I can do and so on. But then physically, because I wasn't able to bowl and practice as much as I wanted because lah bowling alley all closed down everything. I was so rusty. I was so rusty. I made so many simple mistakes. I missed my spares and I didn't cash in the first few tournaments, which made me so frustrated. Because going there, I had my goals. I know what I wanted to do, blah blah blah. But then boleh sampai sana, dia tak boleh execute. Oh, that was like so frustrating for me because like dalam hati cakap, okay, you set a
Stress
goal lah.
gila. Yeah.
I nak menang PWBA title bro semua. Tapi pergi sana miss pair, tak boleh nak hit target. Macam mana nak menang? Like simple things, the process you tak boleh nak execute. How are you going to reach the bigger goal? So the first 2-3 tournaments it was very very hard for me because I keep making simple mistakes that I don't usually make. So it was like really geram. Then I had to like make some changes to my tempo, how my physical game sikit. Then it got better and better. I would say like after 4 tournaments, then I was actually able to go there and like I felt like okay, I can actually like compete. So like the first tournament macam kita cukup makan je. So I was like really upset with myself lah. Yelah dah pergi jauh-jauh kan with the pandemic semua all the go through so yeah, so and then I got better and better and got more comfortable. Like I said earlier, masa I went with the team on our national team pun, like whenever we go for 4 tournaments, only the last 2 tournaments usually like okay, you dah macam because the environment there is totally different.
Mm,
Kalau
mm.
di open tournament, you're going there as a team, so ada some comfortability, comfortnya.
Yeah, go.
So
You're in the group, right?
there.
Mm.
Yeah. So when you go there, you're all alone and everything. Yeah lah, the ball rep is there to help you, but that is there to help 40 other girls. Macam kita team Malaysia pun, we have Polowecha as a band and all things. Tu pun kita orang ada 12 orang je for them to help. So
Mm.
it's more personalized. But when you go there, yeah, you have to like really trust your own self, your judgment. So a lot of things like plays in your mind. So you kena make the right decisions. Like the first 2 tournaments, I made a few bad decisions which I had to learn from, like my sparing. Then I had to change my spare ball and so
Mm.
on. So yeah, so towards the end, I got better. I got more comfortable. Then okay, I actually felt that okay, I'm ready. I can actually compete now and bowl good.
Mm.
That's why I like one like you asked just now what's my best tournament. One of my best tournaments was like I think the last almost the second part of the tour.
Mm.
Because we had a small break in July for their national day. So we had 1 week break there. So no, 2 weeks break there. So towards the second part of the season, I was able to bowl a lot better because I got into the rhythm, the environment became okay. My highest was sixth position, sixth and eighth position. Yang sixth position tu dekat Spokane, Washington. Itu sayang lah because I felt like I really bowled well. I think the first block I was top three. Because the pattern that we bowl on was like really one of my favorite patterns, is outside line and so on. So I was able to like actually, okay, finally because every week we bowl is different oiling condition, different pattern.
And do they purposely change the oil, Shalin? I always read
Yeah,
that
yeah, yeah. They always change every tournament the oil. Macam I know like you main golf tu lah, like the green kan,
the greens,
the
yeah.
laju ke tak ke, and macam dia punya OB and all these things. So and we go to different bowling centers. So each bowling center dia ada tendency dia sendiri. So like the first few tournaments I went to, mostly the pattern asks you to play inside line. So and big hook, which is not really my thing. I mean, I'm okay at it, but it's not my A game lah.
Mm.
So that was also another frustrating thing for me because dah lah tengah ada problem with my physical game, and then kena main like something that I'm not really
Familiar
comfortable.
with, yeah,
Uh,
not comfortable with, yeah.
uh, but even lah after over the years, macam when I first started bowling, I was really good and everything because I only played one style. My ball speed was very fast compared to other girls. But then
Mm.
over the years, over the 30 years bowling in the national team and so on, I had to learn to adapt and make a lot of
Mm.
changes to my game. So yeah, I was still able to apply that. Tapi yelah, because a lot of the girls are like they have like 1 year of competition ahead of you. So you are like
Yeah, yeah. You were rusty. Kita semua tutup, yeah.
yeah, I was so rusty. So yeah lah, so I had to work with that, and then it's working because it was outside line. So I'm like, oh yes, finally outside lines are my game. So that
Yeah.
also made me really comfortable, and I was able to execute and like do what I wanted to do.
Mm.
My mind and my body was able to sync. So I was, and then I played really well, but I just missed the cut for the TV show, which is TV show is top four, which was by 20 So I was like, oh,
Mm.
I was so close. I had like a few games during the last block tu. The last block tu macam susah sikit. If you notice, spoken tu, if like we have some of the bowling fans ni, the first game tu, I don't know why, it was like really tight. All the scores were like really bad the first game.
Mm.
We
Mm.
had like 140, 130. I bought 170. From number six, I actually went to four.
I see. Okay.
Yeah, there were two of us that bought good that first game.
Mm.
Danielle, 70, and I bought 170. And I actually went up my 170. Usually my 170 dah teruk lah, jatuh bawah dah. So, so I actually went up. So, and then I tried to catch up because I know that this will be my best chance because it's the pattern that I like and suits my style of bowling. So I fought and fought and fought, but then end up I just missed by 22. So
Alah. But that
yeah,
was the top one lah, huh?
yeah. So
Mm.
to qualify for the TV show, because
But
TV show tu will be lain lah. At least when you qualify for the TV show, it will be a different fight lah because you masuk on a different pair and you main semua.
I'm
And
just
then
wondering, Shalin, the adrenaline, right? Because
yeah,
I know when you represent the country, you carry the hopes of Malaysian, and then
yeah,
sometimes lah, bila you kalah, then the whole Malaysia it becomes very unfair to you. So that you carry that pressure. I know. But there at the Pro Bowl, you are representing yourself. Would you say the pressure was different, or is it still the same?
for me it's still the same. I mean, for me, even though I'm not in the team, representing the country in the national team, but I've been in there for so long. I think I still represent Malaysia. I still have the flag on
Yeah,
me.
macam Malaysia.
It's just that I'm not in the national team. It's just that I've gone a step higher in the professional circuit. But because if I win and when I win, inshallah, they're still gonna say Shalin Zulkifli from Malaysia.
Malaysia. Yeah, correct.
So
Yeah.
you are still an ambassador of the country, no matter where you go, no matter what you do. So yeah, for me, I have
Yeah.
that thinking. Yeah, it's just
Well
that
done.
when I'm there, it's just that I don't have any support system basically. So I'm out alone. Compared to in the team, you have a lot of safety net and all those things. So
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
the only difference. But I still think, I still feel, and I still know that I still represent Malaysia.
Well,
Even
you'll always be a Malaysian bowler, like, as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, I wouldn't
yeah,
be surprised the next time SEA Games we still call you to come back. Emergency. Yeah.
oh
Okay.
lah, always. So yeah,
Okay.
that was like my highest, my like kira best tournament, which was a Spoken Open
Mm.
and Louisville, I think, and then the kind of like worst or bad, slightly slow experiences was in the earlier four tournaments that I told you about just now.
Yeah. But now that you're back to Malaysia, I think you may be aware that I think the bowling alleys are going to be open soon.
Yes,
But what about you? Yeah, finally. What about your plans? What do you plan to do now that you're back in Malaysia? Are you going back to US for tournament? Are you going to, now that Malaysian bowling are reopened, what about your plans in Malaysia? Blah blah blah. Don't share with us.
Okay. My plans actually they announced towards the end of the second half of the season that we have a fall series at the end of the year, which is at the end of October until November, early
I see.
November, before the World Championship. So, inshallah, if everything goes well, I plan to go and bowl the last three tournaments because one of it is a major. So yeah, actually, during the break, we had like two breaks. One break, which I told you now about, was in June. In June we had a break because normally every week we have tournaments. So in June too we had one where they like summer break lah. So we had like
Mm.
2 weeks off. So I actually planned to come home. Ask my husband Azadi. Then he's like, no need to come home because by the time you come home, you have to go through the quarantine and
Yeah,
everything.
then you got to come back again.
Cakap tak payah lah, you just stay there. So I actually stayed there and I actually like went for training stints with a few of my friends. If some of you who followed me on my IG and so on, I actually went to Florida to train
Oh
with
yes. Oh, that was a training stint.
yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah. I stayed with my friend and then because he works for Kegel, so Kegel is the one that does all the oiling and has a
Mm.
training center there. So I actually went there and like train and like talk to him, discuss with him about my equipment and so on. Because when you go there, you don't have a coach, so you need all the help you can get. So I had
Mm.
like friends that knew my style and who've seen me bowling for a long time. He wasn't on Team USA as well. So
Mm.
yeah, we built like I have a few really good friends. So I went to them and like they helped me out and I went to Florida. Then I went to Vegas first to see one of my ball reps.
Vegas.
Yeah, and I stayed there for like I think a week, 4 or 5 days,
Mm.
and trained with him for 2 sessions. Um, because he's seen me bowl as well, and he's our ball rep, so he helped me with certain
Mm.
things. And then after that, I went to Florida with my other friend. And then after Florida, we drove from Florida to the first tournament of the second part of the tour, which was the
Mm.
Leaf Double in Houston. So from
Yeah.
Florida to Houston, tapi tak tahu jauh.
Yeah, I know. Because
Jauh.
Houston is in the center, south, and yeah.
So we drove 18 hours.
Oh my god.
No, not we lah. He drove, but me and Alia were like kept him company. But then we broke it into 2 days. First day he drove 10 hours. Then the second day, we drove 8 hours.
Okay, okay. Well, that's still a long drive. That's like
Long,
almost from Perlis to Johor.
yeah,
2 rounds. 2 rounds, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
So, okay,
yeah. It was
man.
kind of fun. It was kind of fun. Tapi lepas tu macam, like your back and everything macam wow lah. So
Yeah, yeah. I've driven in US before.
yeah.
Many hours because the road is just straight. It can be very tiring.
And then like the last tournament, the US Open, I drove from LA to San Francisco, which
Oh, that's a
was
long drive. That's a
uh,
long drive.
long
Nampak
drive.
dekat, but very long drive, yeah.
About 6 to 7 hours.
And the traffic in LA is quite bad lah. Sometimes want to
Yeah,
get out from LA, gila,
yeah.
yeah.
Because my friend's house is nearer to San Diego from LA. So I don't really stay dekat California tu. I don't really stay in LA town itself. I stay outskirts sikit, about an hour from LA. So yeah, I have to go through and everything. And then actually there's a funny story there. But I don't know whether we have time or not.
Oh, no, we have time. It's only 3 o'clock. Yeah, don't worry. It's
Okay.
about you today.
So actually me and Alia drove. I drove because like we were discussing about our travel arrangements and so on. And my friend cakap, yeah, she's gonna drive. So I'm like, oh yeah, should I drive or should I take flight? Then he said, I think you should drive because the US is going to be the last stop
I
until
see.
then ada tiga minggu kan break. So cakap bawa bola balik semua lah because the fall series will be in Reno. So okay lah, tak apa. Okay, nak bawa balik bola, banyak bola. Okay, I have like 20 balls.
Oh my god!
I had to like rent a bigger car, like SUV, so that I can put all the bowling balls inside.
And you brought all the balls from Malaysia to
No,
US.
I know that I have to drill there, so
Oh, so you left it there lah.
I only bought 3 balls
Okay,
with
okay,
me.
okay.
So I drill because every week kan lain oiling pattern and so on. So you drill balls to suit your oiling
That
pattern.
pattern, yeah.
Yeah. So okay, that's why we drove. So okay lah, dia cakap. So siapa yang tahu route 1, driving route 1 from LA to San Fran is a very nice route, scenic route, tepi
Yes.
laut, semua tu lah.
Yes.
So it's kind of funny. So kita orang start hari tu lambat sikit lah. Kita start awal tapi something happened, so we were like stuck somewhere and then we only got to like route 1 tu quite late. So kita berhenti makan lunch kejap. Habis makan lunch sebab route 1 tu dia memang macam kalau you pergi Italy semua tu lah, you drive past the vineyard semua tu sebelah laut, so you can see all the whales.
Oh,
And
nice.
yeah, nice. So you can see like one of my friend asked us to like stop and see like the elephant seal.
Oh, the big one. Okay, alright, yeah.
Baring, it's one of the only places in the world where you can see them. They're just lying down on the beach.
Okay. Lepak King, yeah.
Yeah, so we went there. So I went there and then I told Alia because I don't like to drive at night in the States because it's so scary. Dia punya highway tu bukan macam kita. Kalau kat Malaysia ni, me and my husband kita suka drive malam so that tak panas. Kat US, dia punya highway tak ada lampu. So it's so scary. So I don't like to drive at night. And then especially like kita orang 2 orang perempuan dan me and Alia kan.
Yeah, better not lah.
Yeah, so I actually planned even though it's like 6-8 hours, I cakap, okay, take your time. So I broke the drive down into 2 days. 2 days. So I booked a place that we spend the night at. So drive. So dalam lepas tengok elephant seal tu, tengok check Google Maps. Dia cakap okay, to the hotel will be like 2 hours 40 minutes. I'm like, oh, okay, 2 hours 40 minutes. That time I think
jauh tu.
I think 6 o'clock. I'm like, okay, 6 o'clock. 6 o'clock, okay. So tak apalah. Wrong is drive tu, dia jenis memang tepi tebing laut tau. So macam tak ada kedai, tak ada apa benda lain. Just so okay, cakap okay, since it's the fastest, okay, take that one. So I start, I tak nak drive malam kan. So bila dah ambil tu, halfway tu, tiba-tiba I tak perasan, it's my own fault lah, I tak perasan. Tiba-tiba I tengok the petrol tu blinking.
Oh my god.
Blinking. So I'm like, alamak, tinggal like quarter je left, you know. Petrol is low. I'm like, alamak, dah lah tak ada kedai lama. Tak ada kedai. It's like kosong. Tepi highway tu, I'm like, ya Allah Alia, tak ada minyak.
Oh my god.
So drive. And then drive, lepas tu cakap, oh Alia, off the aircon so that, you know, kita Malaysian tahu lah, off aircon tahan lama sikit kan minyak. I don't know whether it's true or not, but so kita ikut tu, then suddenly halfway through I saw macam, I think after an hour or less, half an hour, and then ada some cars broke down or accident, tak sure lah, ada macam fire engine kat situ, ada and then ada, so I'm like, I asked them, excuse me sir, how far is the nearest gas station? And they said it's about 8 miles, about 20 minutes. Now I look at myself like, oh shit, I'm like, boleh? I'm like sempat ke lagi ni? So I'm like 20 minutes lah. Then cakap, what if I go further, macam go where I came from kan? That's even further. I'm like, alamak, je lah, tawakal je lah. So I'm like, okay. So I just drove, and then the worst part is masa you drive tu, sebab it's tepi tebing, so you drive tu memang tepi tu gaung tau. It's like really the sea, the bukit. So drive tu nanti cakap, alamak, cakap apa? Network tak ada pula kat phone.
One after another, man.
So if anything happens to you, I cannot contact my friend, whatever. I'm like, aduh, so drive. Masa tu macam dah nak macam almost like sunset lah. So okay lah. drive, tolonglah cukup minyak. Nanti kalau tidak kena stop halfway macam mana kan. So drove, ngam. I think towards the end of the last 5, from the 20 minute expected to the last 5 minute tu sampai dekat petrol station.
Oh, thank God for you, man.
Like when I saw that petrol station, I'm like, Ya Allah, terima kasih.
That was a close one, man.
Because tak ada kedai apa-apa langsung kat tepi tu. It's just like land and sea. So I'm like, so terus isi minyak penuh, and then tanya uncle yang kerja at the petrol station, how much further are we from the ni kan? So, about 60 miles.
Oh,
punya lagi.
still far away, man.
From my hotel. I'm like, I cakap 60 miles. I cakap, if I were to turn back, would it be further? I cakap, it's about the same. Dia cakap, oh Allah. Then I asked him to check my tank. I said, is this enough? If I fill up full, is this enough for until to get there? Then he looked, oh yeah, this is plenty. Okay, I just want to make sure. I said, where's the next nearest petrol station?
Petrol,
Dia cakap, it's quite far. It's like an hour away or something like that.
Oh my God.
So okay lah. Redah je lah because I booked the hotel. So like, no matter what, okay, just try and get there. So drove. That was another, I think, an hour.
An hour or so lah to sampai.
That was the longest 1 hour and 40 minutes of my life. I was Mama, are we like in a horror movie? When you drive, itu lepas macam bukit and then the sea. And then when you get to certain parts, it's just pokok gelap. Tak ada kereta.
Oh, that's scary, man. That's really scary.
Scary. And then you tak ada internet connection. Lagi scary.
That's scary, yeah.
So drive, then adalah at certain point ada hotel semua. But a lot of the drive, it was like empty. Then we saw a few cars in front of us. Then I just like tag along behind the car. So at least, ada 2 kereta kan. So, but then, Then we finally got to the hotel at about 9:40 p.m.
Oh, that's quite late, man.
Yeah, it was so dark. I'm like, Ya Allah. I was like, thank you. We finally got to the hotel. So, because I was supposed to because I broke it into 2 days. So after the second day we got to the hotel, so I was like, maybe I want to bring her to one of the famous aquariums kat situ.
Tak sempat lah.
So I asked her that we're supposed to go the next day lah. So I said, so Alia, you nak pergi aquarium tak besok? No Mama, I don't want to go anywhere. I just want to go. Make sure we reach. Okay.
But it would have been a fantastic experience for your daughter, man, to travel with you like that. Very good bonding for you. Very good bonding.
Yeah, because she's like, before this, she always thought like, alah senang je, become a bowler, you go there. Then when like the first day sampai kat sana, we had to like drag our bowling balls, our equipment with us, with the luggage and everything. Cakap, this is so hard. Dia cakap, I said, you think it's easy to become
well, now she understand what mommy is doing, huh? Yeah.
So tired. Baru tahu sekarang.
But now that you're back, Shalin, hopefully with a full petrol tank in your car.
So I will always, last time my husband always said, you always never check your petrol tank. So now I for sure masuk kereta terus check.
Lesson learned. Yeah.
So macam now, since coming back, like you said just now,
you have a Shalin Cup coming up, right? You want to do Shalin Cup, right? You say?
Yeah, usually we have Shalin's Cup towards the end of the year where we have like 300 to 400 kids to bowl. Last year we had to forego that because of the pandemic and everything. So hopefully, inshallah, this year, if by then everything dah okay, it's kind of hard to say. Hopefully, if everything okay, then we'll be able to do that again this year. But coming back here, right now, because I have like 2 weeks break, like even after the quarantine, I have like 2 weeks back in Malaysia before I go to the States again, inshallah, for the last part of my go tour. So I don't know if some of them who seem like I've tried to because I feel really, really bad for our bowling industry, especially like sports, because a lot of it has they had to close down because of the pandemic.
Yeah, yeah,
That's why like even like yesterday was actually the first day they actually allowed bowling alleys to be open and so on. So I
yeah.
did an IG story on my social media, ask everybody,
Go
to
support lah,
to
support. Yeah,
support, to go and bowl. Tak kisahlah, just go bowl one or two games pun tak apa. At least help them, to get back because I
get back
think
the business. Mm.
get back the business because bowling wise actually it's easy for us to follow the SOP. In our
Yeah,
sport of bowling, it's easy for us to follow the SOP. Because we can make sure that everything is like not closed,
distance. Yeah,
social distancing is applied and everything. Cuma it's just like before this they had problem because of the ventilation.
ventilation lah, the biggest problem.
Yeah, the aircon. But then yeah, so YBKJ also actually mentioned it. I saw in the talk in his speech, in his PC about ventilation and everything. So I hope they'll be able to uh, find a solution for that, and so that the
Mm.
bowling will be able to open and run for business
Yeah,
until the end.
even even my office, Shalin, my office we book up so tingkap in my
Yeah,
office. Yeah, because we
boleh
operate from a
dalam mall.
yeah, yeah,
Bukan
more a bit
tingkap.
tough. Yeah,
Most of the bowling alleys in Malaysia are in mall, so that's why it's tough for them. But yeah, because I've had experiences being a bowling proprietor myself, so I know susah because as much as possible we don't want to like cut our staff in salary,
mm.
we want to fire them, but then they are also running at a loss because they are losing because it's in a mall, so they're losing
Yeah,
hundreds of thousands of dollars a month. So
yeah, the
that's
rental and all that. Yeah,
I was so happy when they allowed bowling centers to open yesterday, and I actually did a shout out to all the pro
good lah,
shops.
good. Yeah,
So I
promote.
yeah because if I don't know whether you saw like when I was in the States in June, they actually started showing the Ratu Tenpin that we shot the
Mm. Yes. The TV show, right? Yeah,
yeah,
quite cool.
yeah. So we had a lot of good positive feedback from
Mm.
the public and so on. So that's but then they couldn't bowl at that time because everything was shut down. So I kind of like told them, okay, everybody was saying like, oh tak sabar nak main, because lepas they saw Ratu Tenpin, tiba-tiba dia macam semangat nak main kan. So I like told them like, okay, since you all said semangat after Ratu Tenpin, so now that the bowling centers are open, make sure you just go out there and bowl and
Yeah,
like
and let's go bowl lah. Yeah.
the bowling
And the
left.
thing about bowling alley is all indoor, like you said, like in the mall, a
Yes,
bit
yes,
tough lah, ventilation. But never
yeah,
mind, we'll work around it. Yeah, we'll work around it.
yeah. I'm sure they'll find a way.
Okay. So at least, but it goes to show how passionate you are about bowling. That the first thing you came back is to promote people. Hey, go back bowling. So thank you for supporting the industry.
So,
But my last question for today, before we wrap it up, is actually on a lighter note. Malaysia Day is next week.
yes,
16th of September is Hari Malaysia.
yes.
So for those who still sometimes question it, let me make it very clear that Malaysia Day is the day Sabah, Sarawak, and Tanah Melayu form Malaysia. Huh?
Yes.
It's not a day where Sabah and Sarawak join Malaysia. It's actually three countries form Malaysia. So that's why Hari Malaysia. So you met many Malaysians in US. You met Yuna, I saw, the famous singer. And even at some places, they were cooking nasi lemak for you and all that. How was it like meeting Malaysians in US?
It was so fantastic. It was like towards the second part of my tour as well, in Texas and in Houston. So I met a few Malaysians. Because in the first tournament that we drove the 18-hour drive from Florida to Houston though, because my daughter's classmate, her uncle stays in Houston. So actually, before going there, my friend said, okay, go visit her brother's house and so on. But then later on, I knew a few more Malaysians from a friend of a friend. So by the time I went there, they were like, oh, okay, they invited us to go to their house, masak nasi lemak, Malaysia and nasi lemak and everything. So they were really nice and they came to and supported me and watched me bowl. It was so nice and like everybody, some of my friends on tour was saying like, wow, it's so nice when you see your Malaysians, even though they live here, they come and support you. And I said, yeah, it was. I mean, I felt really, really. touched by
Yeah.
the gesture and so on. So macam bagi kita lagi semangat lah. I felt like lagi semangat.
Yeah, yeah, semangat. Yeah.
I was able to bowl good as well. And then went with them, had like a few makan-makan for their birthday and so on while I was competing on my off days. And then I went to Arlington, then met another group of Malaysians because apparently there's a lot of Malaysian in Houston, in Texas.
Yes,
Juga.
yes, there is. Yeah,
So,
my
yeah, so
cousin lived there. Yeah.
so I was like I was driving from Houston to Arlington. It's like a
Yes.
2-hour drive.
Mm.
So I asked the Malaysians usually like from Malaysian ke US again, you kind of know someone that knows someone that in another state.
Yeah.
So I asked them like, tak kenal ke anyone in Arlington? Then I'm like, oh okay. Then one of the Kak Mas kat sana tu contacted me to another Kak Ani or something like that. I forgot. And then went to her house and said, okay, I told the Malaysians in Arlington that you're going there. So their house is like only 10 or 15 minutes away from the venue that I was competing in
I see.
So they came, then so nice. They like gave me food. They
must bring food.
Yes. Masak apa? Masak nasi goreng lah, nasi ayam lah. I'm like, oh, that's then after that, they made friends. Ali also made friends with their kids. Then they went to Six Flags when I was still, I was competing. So they brought Alia to Six Flags with their kids me outing and so on. So they babysit Alia. So when I was bowling, so I was like very, very thankful that I had like some support there. So it was like really fantastic.
Yeah, nice. So nice. So nice.
Yeah. And towards the last few days of before I came back to Malaysia as well, I was able to meet Yuna. Actually, we tried to meet for a long time in Malaysia and in the States, but our schedule always clashes. So happened that when I was driving back from San Fran to California. I'll pass by LA anyway. So I just messaged her, so are you free? So, oh yeah, we just came back. I think she just came back for a week. So after, okay, let's meet up for lunch. So we met for lunch, and because I knew Yuna before she went to the States, before she was famous. Yeah, because she's like one of our juniors that used to bowl the junior circuit. She actually
she's a bowler. Yuna is a bowler.
Yeah, she's a bowler.
That's an
Yeah, so she always like message me, yeah, Kak, where are you bowling this one? I was like, okay, bowling next. So it's kind of nice to actually meet her. So we talk about bowling, talk about everything else. So and then after that, the next day, I actually also visited our Malaysian consulate in LA.
Oh yeah. I saw that photograph. Yeah, yes.
One of the staff there is a bowler as well. So she contacted me on IG, DM me, like, oh, are you free? Can you come to concert? I said, of course I can come. So I've never normally, because in the States, our consulate, the big embassy is in New York. I think New York or Washington.
I think it's New York.
Yeah.
I think it's New York.
So because they have like consulate general in LA, in New York, and in Washington. Our consulate told me, said, oh, okay, so of course, so I went there and met them, talked to them. So yeah, I shared my stories and experiences. They said, oh, then it was nice. So at least if anything happens, at least they know that I'm there and all.
Yeah.
So yeah,
nice, very nice story. Every time I saw your Instagram meeting a fellow Malaysian, I was smiling. I said, there you go. See, mana-mana pun ada orang Malaysia punya, mesti ada orang Malaysia.
Betul. Because after like few months, kami tak boleh cakap BM kan. So macam then Malaysia macam happy. Lain semua Malaysian. So yeah.
I know the feeling, Shalin, was there was once I flew to US just to visit an old friend, and I landed in LA and waiting for a connecting flight to San Francisco because my friend is based in San Francisco. So I went into a burger joint eating alone. Then behind me was a group of Malaysian. I'm Hokkien Chinese. They spoke Hokkien exactly like Malaysian. So I literally I turned behind, said, and I spoke in Hokkien. I asked, hello, are you Malaysian? And I in Hokkien. They look at me, wow, you Malaysian? And that's it. We were
macam jumpa orang kampung kan.
And speaking
Yeah,
Hokkien and speaking
yeah, yeah.
Malay. Then they were flying off to another town. So it
Oh,
was, yeah, it's so unique to meet a
yes,
fellow.
yes, yes, definitely,
Yeah.
definitely.
Okay, so it's 3:18. I allocated at least 1.5 hours. I'm sure you want to rest because your jet lag is still jet lag, kan? Maybe to
Lupa,
wrap it up.
I'm mesti ni, mesti mengantuk.
Yeah, that's why. Yeah, because your body is still the other way around.
Yeah,
So
adapting.
to wrap it up, maybe you can. Of course, I know I heard you plans about your American tournament. You got to go back, and in Malaysia, you may want to have Shalin Cup. But what are your vision for the next 1-2 years with the pandemic? And what do you plan to do the next 1-2 years? Are you planning to still go back every year for tournaments, and or do you plan to do something in Malaysia?
I plan to do both actually, if possible. I actually planned, one of my bucket lists is to actually like continue my studies.
Yeah, but you have a degree in sports, I remember, right?
Yeah, I have a degree in sports psychology and coaching. So I actually want to take my masters. It's been one of my goals. Uh, yeah, one of my goals for the longest time to actually like continue my
Continue
masters.
and finish it off. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
so that's one of my goals as well. So because I've been going around and surveying a few local universities and also like universities in the states, if
Mm.
they have any programs that will suit me and so on. So that's one of the things that I want to do, and
Mm.
I
Good
still
luck.
want
Good
to,
luck.
I still want to contribute here. Definitely, work with our Malaysian Taiping Bowling Congress, MSN, ISN,
Yeah.
to help them. Since I'm already inside the
Yeah.
MPB and so on, so trying to assist as much as I can, and still bowl, just not in the team, because
Mm.
I'm still bowling. Yeah, do some courses for sports psychology probably, since that's also my passion. Yeah, and
Yeah.
just
That sounds good. That sounds
time.
good.
Yeah,
I'm sure MSN and ISN will definitely like to engage your services.
yeah. Hopefully,
Mm.
I mean, I don't mind giving back. I mean, I like giving back and like sharing my knowledge and my experiences with the younger kids. So
Okay.
hopefully that they
Okay.
won't make the same mistake as I did, or make better decisions so
Yeah.
that
Make better decisions.
able
Yeah.
to compete and win uh, faster,
Yeah.
time time frame than I did. Yeah.
Well, okay. I think I took up more than enough of your time. I know you have a few more days for quarantine.
Yes.
Must be very bored in the room. Yeah.
Actually, not too
Then
bad. I have 8 more days quarantine. Yeah.
okay. I'm sure people can send you more nasi lemak, the next few days. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. From all of us, thank you very much, Shalin. I know you inspire many people.
Thank you.
I think you heard many times people say nice things about you, but I just say this, Shalin, that it's not. It is. It looks nice to be a national player for sports, but it is a difficult life, very
Yes.
difficult life. And you just shared with us. Nampak syok pergi Amerika, tapi bukan main stress for all of you, you know.
Correct.
So well done to you that despite your retirement from the national team, you've not given up on the sports.
Thank you.
And well done to you. And
Thank
I
you.
would like to invite everybody here to give Shalin a cyber round of applause. Dia masih hati Malaysia walaupun dah pencen. So good luck to you, Shalin. I'm sure the Malaysian people will always wish you the best. Any
Thank
final say before we call it a day?
Well, I just want to thank you, and your Richard V Chambers for always like inviting me to share my experiences, my knowledge, my triumphs, and also my mistakes, so that hopefully everybody will be able to make better decisions for
Thank you. Thank you.
themselves.
This is
Yeah,
my way of giving back. This is my way of giving back.
true, true. You are very.
Yeah.
I always follow you and I always see like your thoughts and so on. So I just want to thank everyone that all the Malaysians, the sports fans that's been sending me messages, that's followed me on my social media. Sometimes when I'm competing, especially the first few tournaments, it was really hard. I felt demoralized, but I got a lot of like support of like, telling people telling me that okay, it's okay. Next tournament, gave me some motivation when I felt down. So thank you so much for all your messages, all your DMs. It really helped me. Really means a lot to me.
Mm.
And thank you for your support. And selamat Hari Malaysia. Okay,
So Malaysia, yeah. Mm.
no matter where we are, no matter what our country is going through, we all still are Malaysians, and we will always love Malaysia.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Hidup Malaysia, hidup Malaysia.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to bring this show to the end. You hold on, you stay in the studio, Shalin.
Okay.
So everybody, thank you very much for joining
Thank
us.
you, everyone.
Yep, stay safe and Selamat Hari Malaysia next week. Bye bye.